I think it was Angry Video Game Nerd of all people. Like he coined the term like legacy sequel, where it's like you suddenly decide you're going to do a sequel to a thing from like 20, 30, 40 years ago. Like, so it's now it's like you're almost into the realms of remakes and like nostalgia baiting, but it is a direct sequel. And I think it is a unique concept that's just come about in recent years. Like we've seen it with Ghostbusters and so on. And I wonder, we're going to see more stuff like that.
I did see a Gremlins sequel supposed to be happening. I guess that would count as a legacy sequel.
And Goonies.
Fucking Goonies. Do you think that was because of Skeleton Crew? They're like, Skeleton Crew? You guys want Goonies?
Dude.
Let's
Okay.
get Goonies.
Are they doing that? Are we having a Goonies too?
Crazy.
And they're all grown up now? Or is
reboot,
like Goonies the
can't
next
tell.
generation?
Yeah. Hey, you guys, again.
Yeah, I want to see Sloth.
No, he's like perfectly intellectual now at this point. He has no speech impediment whatsoever.
No ableism.
Hey, you guys, what's going on?
Hello, gentlemen.
Oh,
Sloth
speaking of not the sequel,
Sloth
American
would definitely
Psycho.
have been banged up for all
Yeah,
kinds of
why are they
offenses.
bringing back American Psycho?
American Psycho, dude.
No. Isn't it Austin Butler? Is that who's playing him?
Let's see Paul Allen's.
Right, it's a reboot, right? Because Mila Kunis was in the American Psycho sequel for some reason back in the day.
There was an actual sequel back
Yeah.
in the day.
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
of direct-to-DVD, yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Like,
Yeah, well, you're not missing
is that a movie that's crying out for a remake?
When are
Dude,
they ever?
I like Austin
When are
Butler.
they ever?
Wait, is it a remake or sequel?
I believe it's Austin Butler playing Patrick Bateman, and it's a remake,
I
isn't
think
it?
it's
But in
still
it's a
Patrick
remake.
Bateman, yeah. The modern day society can't handle American Psycho. Like, I don't understand why that's
What's
even
the equivalent of the business card scene in today? We're going to showing our cell phones or something?
a nice
iPhone,
iPhone
yeah.
case or
It's gonna be
something.
iPhones, yeah.
Son of a bitch has a teak handle on his phone.
They're LinkedIn or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what? And Snarky J, you say that, you know, that today, like, I feel like audiences have totally changed. They are, but I think it's also really segregated a whole bunch of us that really want good shit. And you see it with independent creators like you and I and Eric from Rippaverse and how successful he is and Critical Drinker and how we're actually creating like our own type of shit where it's not Hollywood and it's not so corporate. And I think that is going to be the new meta. People really want that.
I think there's definitely like people have an appetite for things that aren't, you know, the cookie cutter Hollywood thing. But the problem with like specifically something like American Psycho is that I read the book not that long ago and even I was kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I'm going to get canceled just for laying eyes on this. Like, how do you remake American Psycho in modern society without fucking it up? Like, that's just, you can't. So, you know, the more stuff, like, we need independent people like you guys that are gonna do, you know, content outside of what Hollywood is doing. But when Hollywood keeps going with these legacy sequels and remakes and stuff like that, they essentially just shit on any groundwork that was laid by the previous generation.
The problem is as well, like, okay, we can make things, but like we're not going to move the needle because we don't have the resources, we don't have the pull, we don't have the influence to do something like that. Not unless it was some, I don't know, like
what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, like, say you or I or any of us here, like, we decide we're going to make a TV series or a movie or something like that. Like, we're never going to get to the level of like a major Hollywood, you know, A-list film that's going to get like thousands of movie theaters and like garner all kinds of headlines and stuff. Like, it's not going to be enough to move the needle and break their cultural dominance. Like, yeah, maybe collectively over time it'll have an influence, but
I think it would.
man, it's like you're still hamstrung by lack of resources. Like, that's the thing that they have that we don't.
But realistically, I don't know, I'm just, you know, playing a devil's advocate here. Couldn't we see people like shifting in the opposite direction? Because at the end of the day, like, attention spans are at an all-time low. I don't know one person near my age that willingly goes through a movie theater and sits still for 2.5 to 3 hours watching anything.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
I think what we're seeing is like Hollywood is being essentially getting its ass kicked by streaming services. And even streaming services aren't satisfying a lot of people because people want to look elsewhere. You know, YouTube is like the biggest social networking thing. It's a search engine. Like, there's so many ways to consume content that isn't coming from Hollywood that I think if we all just bang our heads against the wall enough, eventually people will come this way and sort of leave Hollywood by the wayside. I mean, we're already seeing people shift in the other direction, right? People are getting tired of what Hollywood is serving.
Totally agree.
I think, certainly in terms of media critique and like our breakdowns of movies, reviews, that sort of thing, I think people come to people like us way more than they do with the legacy media. And I made a video about this recently where it's like you've got these dinosaur sites that used to cover video games like Polygon or Kotaku or IGN with millions of followers that get 10,000 views per video, like nothing, like they're dead.
They're all making YouTube channels now. You see, like, oh, Fallout creator, he's on YouTube.
If I may. And then
they'll come to people like Asmongold and stuff for their video game content, and like they are the media. But like, that's media. That's one thing. But like the actual production of new content, like whether it's games, whether it's movies, that sort of thing, that takes a level of resources that most of us can't muster at this point. That's the difficult leap to make.
But then the inverse can be said too, where we have small channels that have, millions and millions of views on every video, and they have like just maybe, 10,000 subs. I think it's really all about the quality of the content and, the point of view that the person has if they're reviewing something, or the quality of whatever they're making, whether that be a cartoon or, look at the freaking stick figure fights, Xiao Xiao or whatever it was called, XIAO, like super simple shit. But people like quality and they like something different and they like something cool. So I think it's really a testament as to the product versus the subscriber count or whatever. Like screw Kotaku and all those other guys.
I referenced this a few times over the past year or two. It was Robert Meyer Burnett who said that authenticity is the currency of the 2020s or the modern era. And he's 100% right. Like when it comes to just like the takes of people on media and breakdowns, reviews, all that sort of thing, people are much more likely to gravitate to an independent creator who's just a person who's super passionate about the source material, doesn't have like a big production setup behind them, doesn't have all the slick fancy editing and stuff, but they are knowledgeable about the subject matter and they talk about it because they care about it. They'll go towards that rather than any kind of corporate bullshit that's just bought and paid for, and it's just someone who clearly would rather be doing something else, but like that's their job. So that is definitely one thing that like we are taking over at least the media sphere, the media.
You go on Piers Morgan. You've got game developers are scared of you and whispering your name in hushed tones. But like when we say we are the media, I don't mean like every person in the world knows us, but if you're going online and you're looking for independent thoughts from that legacy, you will find our corner of the internet, either the Fellowship or the 199 or Drink. It just happens. Chris Gore, Film Threat. And as long as we keep going, keep not being, as long as we're ourselves and authentic, it'll keep going.
Well, and that's the thing, is that we can't be bought. And in a world today where, everyone is a shill, everyone's bought to say something or endorse something or some bullshit, the authenticity is lost. And people feel that, So I think with guys like us, girls like us, it's nice. It's refreshing, I'm a Zimzair. How dare you? Go fuck yourself.
It's also good that we don't know how to shut the fuck up. Like, you say Snarky J in a mirror 3 times, I appear behind you and just scream and then disappear. Like, I probably scream about Boba Fett or The Crow or something. Like, we're hell bent on this bullshit. They really just have no way to silence us. And it's kind of one of those things where, like, I always tell people, when they're like, why don't you just let people enjoy things? Like, I'm letting you enjoy it. If you feel influenced by my opinion when I say this was shit, then you probably didn't like it that much in the first place.
We like Skeleton Crew. We're nuanced and fair, but we try. I'm saying like at least some of them will try, but we're not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like if someone were to come to me and say like, "Hey, fuck your dog," I'd be like, "What?
That's
I love my dog. What are you talking about?" No, not literally, you weirdo. Weird, man.
It's like,
I'm not
what position
God,
would you...
No, I mean like screw, like go to hell. You're fuck.
That's totally done.
Weirdo,
Maybe
man.
just like let's redefine that as like your dog sucks. Like, it's the worst dog ever.
Well, you know what I mean, Jesus. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not gonna hate my dog all of a sudden. So it's like all these. This is over.
Yeah. I know what you meant, buddy.
All right.
They can't make us
Snarky
hate
J.
something that we love, even if they
Snarky
keep
J
abusing
bestiality taking it sexual. All right.
it.
Hello?
And our stream's demonetized. Yes.
Hey, well.
So
I'm
quickly.
never getting invited back on open bar again.
It was Theory who started talking about fucking his dog, man.
Wow,
True.
T.
Why am I getting blamed for this?
You fucking
All right,
weirdos, man.
get it
God
back
damn.
away. I was just gonna say, like, maybe I want to tune it down a little on the self-aggrandizing aspect. Like, we may hope to have as much integrity that we all would prefer in terms of the sell-outiness, but some of the biggest and most famous YouTubers have easily sold out once the numbers get high enough. It is an inevitability. I think most people would have a number no matter what, because, you know, eventually the arguments come in of like, man, think of the good I could do with that money. If one was to sell out and promote all of Disney's products, but in exchange you get like, I don't know, 100 billion, would you consider doing it? Holy shit.
Well,
Imagine
100.
Imagine what you can do with 100
Shit, for 100
billion.
billion.
Here's the thing, right? It's a long-term investment in terms of just being authentic. If nothing else than that, because like you can, if you get to that level where companies are willing to like pay you to shill for them, you're probably making so much money from just telling the truth that like, what's your incentive to not do that?
I was just going to say that I think that the really important aspect of our sort of contribution to the current industry is the fact that we match a lot of how the audience feels. Even if at times you can have people who grift on that. They could be like, that's how they're feeling right now. I'll claim I feel the same way. Yes, I love the Batman. He's a very good character, and I can't believe what they've done with him. And you're just like, who even are you? Like, what is you? But at the same time, yeah, for now, it's just like a matter of sharing your perspective, and a lot of people resonate with it. And the authenticity is super important. It's just, Hollywood, if they could commodify and can authenticity, they would. You know, they're desperately trying to figure out how to do that as well.
They can. It's so easy. You know how easy it is for Dave Filoni or Kathleen Kennedy to just make a simple 20-second video being like, hey, we know that we've done some stuff that's been, dividing the fandom a little bit, and we're aware of it, and we just want to do our best to bring the fandom back together and make stuff that you all like. Done.
Well, I mean, that'd be awesome for them to do that, but like they have to then follow that up with actual good products.
But even just saying that, acknowledging that, I think it would soften a lot of people up and be like, all right, fuck you, but let's see, at least you're kind of doing something now. You kind of acknowledge
The
it.
thing is that they hate us, though. That's the problem, because they could
do.
easily do that, right? And be like, look, okay, the Acolyte, we totally fucked up. I'm so sorry. But it's so much easier for them to just fly out 10 YouTubers that are going to shill for them and then start attacking you guys on the internet. Like, it's that much easier for them to just go in the other direction.
They hated us and our money so much, they willfully thought they could replace us and all of our money with an entire new generation and their money, and they couldn't, and now they have no one's money. But yeah, they hated us so much they didn't even want our money.
What I've noticed is they're trying to make the YouTubers that they control and the influencers they control to have more clout, more authority by giving them, better press, giving them, flying them out to red carpet premieres, giving them the directors and writers and whatever to interview this, that, and the other thing. And it still doesn't fucking work. What is that telling you?
Well, it's all feeding, it's feeding material into this defective machine that no longer works. Like, as we just said, like, the legacy media has no clout anymore. Like, actual fans don't pay any attention to it. So it doesn't matter how much you praise certain YouTubers or certain content creators to try and elevate them with that mechanism. It's not going to be effective because no one listens to it in the first place.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's a complete losing game. Like, I'm sure they keep trying it, but like that playbook does not work anymore.
No.
It's kind of like calling someone racist or sexist in 2025. Like, no one gives a fuck anymore. Like,
yeah, they really
said that for like the past 10 years.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that after I talked about the Acolyte and I mentioned that some of the performances weren't good, I found posts on Twitter about myself and a video that I did on Ray as well, saying that I was female in name only because I had an opinion about a woman. And I'm like, aren't we in 2025? Are you not supposed to be questioning my gender? Like, I'm pretty sure that's kind of against your own code, right?
No, like, you don't understand, Snarky. Like, you have to, as a woman, you have to support every female character ever.
You're right. Like, we're all one big vajayjay hive mind. I've never hated another woman in my life.
Yeah, I mean,
Power of
I've
one,
been
the
told
power
that
of two,
you
the
are
power of
essentially
many.
the Borg, and you just all share each other's thoughts and stuff. So, like, it makes sense.
Neat.
I think I just forgot my estrogen pills that morning. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
It happens.
Yeah. Oh well. Move to Canada, you'll get all the careful what I say here.
They'll just be like, "Have you
Don't get
considered
arrested,
dying?"
I've had to be very careful for the last 9 years about what I say, especially when it comes to topics about gay or transgender or anything like that. I had to like dance around so much shit and say shit that's just like very political, just so I don't get fucking thrown in jail or something like that. It's been a nightmare, man. It's been horrible.
What's going to happen now that old Trudeau is left?
Well,
are you gonna-
they're probably
no-
gonna, and until the new election, they're probably gonna fill it in with another one of the liberals in his cabinet, because they're all literally fighting over each other now to get into power. And then we're gonna get the election, and most likely Poilievre's gonna win, which I think will be great.